I'm Barbara Crampton, and I want to say a big hello to Scifiworld. Thank you for being lovers of genre cinema for so very long, and thank you for coming to Sitges and for supporting all the genre cinema.
Thank you very much. It's an honor for us.
An honor for me to talk to you, so thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Well, how did you begin to walk on the world of cinema, in this crazy world that is acting?
You know, I've always wanted to be an actor. I think a lot of children do, maybe, when they're young.
Yeah.
My daughter, who's 13, when she was 5, she said, I want to be an actress. And I wanted to be an actor from the time I was very little. I used to watch a lot of old movies. And in America, we had a show called The $1 Million Movie.
Yeah.
And it would be on every day after school on our Channel 11. So you'd come home from school, and every day there'd be a movie with Miriam Hopkins or Joan Crawford, people like that. And I loved those movies. And that's what inspired me initially to want to be an actor, was the $1 Million Movie. Every day a new movie. So I kept on with it. You know, my daughter changed her mind many times, and I just never changed my mind. And I always wanted to do it. So I just always had my sights on it. But I grew up in Vermont in the States, and I didn't have any training before I really went to college. I acted in high school and did some plays in high school, but only when I went to college did I have any acting classes, and I had directing classes, and I worked on stagecraft and props, and I was a stage manager. So initially I thought, well, maybe I'll work in the theater. So I get to New York City after I am graduated from college, and I start working in the theater, and I realize I'm not making any money. And so I'm working as a waitress on Madison Avenue in some of the best restaurants in the city. And I was afraid that would become my career, you know, working in theater and making just a little bit of money and then being a waitress, which is fine, I could do that. But then I thought, you know, I really should move to Hollywood and try to work in the movies and in television. And then I can actually make money at my craft. So I moved to Los Angeles, and I was very lucky because the first audition I had was for an American soap opera, Days of Our Lives. So I auditioned for that, and then I booked that job, and I worked on that show for about a year. And then after that, I thought, oh, I'd made the right decision. You know, I loved the theater, and I grew up kind of, you know, working in the theater, but I could actually support myself working in movies and television. So I never left.
Right.
Not yet, anyway.
Before the next question, they say hello to the camera. At the end.
At
And
the
I can
end,
edit the later.
Yeah. Don't cut the interview, man.
Okay. I wait until the next question.
It's a joke. Well,
Your first important movie was Body Double, directed by Brian De Palma. No? What do you remember about that?
Well, what I remember is that the part was a lot bigger when I first got the part. Now, am I supposed to talk to you? Am I supposed to talk to you?
No,
It's
don't
okay.
worry.
Okay. I had about 3 or 4 scenes in the movie. And so the night before, I got a call from the casting director, and she said, they've cut all your scenes, except for the sex scene. And I think, well, that's all right. It's Brian De Palma. He always uses the same people. So if I work with him, you know, on this little scene where I don't have any dialogue, I'm sure he'll use me again. I worked on that scene the whole day. You know, it was a short scene, right? But they did maybe 100 takes. I don't know, more than that. It was a very long day. So I think, oh, you know, I had a party soon after that. Brian came to my party. I got to be friendly with him. And then years later, nothing ever happened. I never got a call. So I'm sitting in a restaurant one day with my girlfriend having lunch. And then all of a sudden I hear, hey, Barbara. And I look up and it's Brian De Palma. I'm like, Brian. So I told him the story. I said, I did your movie because I thought it was going to lead to other things and you'd use me again. And you've never used me. And he goes, I'm going to call you, Barbara. You're totally on my radar now. I'm going to call you. I'm still waiting for him to call me. It still hasn't happened. But I love him, love his movies. I got to work with him for one day. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an incredible story.
Right?
Well, and what do you think about all this world of horror films and what means for you the love of the fans? That I think that they are the most supportive fans of the world.
Yeah.
What means for you all of
Yeah, we don't see a film festival for just dramas or just comedies, right? I mean, there's film festivals like Sundance or the Toronto Film Festival where it's a film festival for everything. It's just movies because people love movies.
Yeah.
But for genre movies, we have genre film festivals because people love genre films. And I didn't think that I was going to be a genre, movie personality. I don't know. It just happened. I mean, I started working and I got cast in Reanimator and then worked for Stuart Gordon a number of times and then just kept getting cast in these movies. And then I had my children, and then when my children were a little bit older, I started working again and I did You're Next because somebody called me for it and I loved the script. So then somebody called me for something else. I didn't plan it, but it's a wonderful genre to work in because, as you say, the fans are incredible. People love these movies. And I think it's because there is an innate passion in these movies, the scares and the stakes for which the characters are playing at to either, become the hero or to escape from the monster. It's high stakes. There's a lot going on. There's blood, there's screaming. It's like a thrill ride. So it's a real experience you're going through. You're not just a passive viewer watching a narrative story. You feel involved. And so I think that's why people love these movies so much. It's, sometimes in life we're all very proper and talking to one another like we are right now, but, wouldn't we love to scream at one another or hug each other or run away together or, do something crazy? And genre cinema allows you to go through those experiences.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It's really fun.
In some way, for some people, it's like exercise his own fears. Looking this kind of films.
Of course, yes. I mean, I think people talk about that a lot. If you can go through the journey of somebody overcoming their fear or being the final girl and you beat the monster, then you feel like, wow, I've accomplished something by watching that. And you also conquer your own fear of death by watching other people die. Well, if they can do it, they can go through it, so can I. You can go through even your worst experiences in life and overcome them. Then that can translate and relate to other experiences in your life that you're able to overcome.
Working often in this kind of movies is something that you penalized your career or not?
Has what?
Is something that you penalized your career?
Penalizes my career. Oh, penalizes my career? No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so. I mean,
I understand your question because, for example, Christopher Lee always
yeah,
says, oh my God, Dracula for me, no.
Well, it depends on who you are, I guess. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I love working in the genre. I love telling stories. I recently did a movie that was a comedy, so I've worked in the soap operas and in television, and I don't long to work on another type of movie. It's the characters I'm interested in. So if it's a good character, that's what counts for me. But I understand, and I've heard that story about Christopher Lee, and there's even other people that I've heard they would rather not be associated, with just genre cinema, or they feel like that's all I can do, or that's all people see me as. But I don't feel like it's limited me or stopped me from doing other things that I might do. I'm really actually very happy where I am.
For us, for sure, it's a very good luck that you be proud of you and doing this kind of
so.
thing.
I really feel that way, and even when I came back with You're Next, because after my break, it was the first time that I really realized I am a genre actress. I guess I am, and it actually made me feel really good, and so I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for it.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about directing a movie?
A lot of people have asked me that. I'm producing some movies now, and I really enjoy that because I feel like I'm a helpful person and I want to help other people. That's sort of been my directive as a person in life, working in movies or just being a human being. But for a director, you have to be with one movie for so many years and really focused on that one thing. I can't imagine myself doing that. I can't imagine myself, working to get the financing, making the movie, editing it, and then going on the circle with it. I mean, most people I know that work with these movies who are directors, it's 4 years of your life. Maybe you can dabble in other things, but you're pretty much focused on that one thing. And that doesn't suit my personality. I'm much more of a person that wants to jump around and dabble in a lot of different things, and also being a helper to someone else. And I really wanted to help Jackson Stewart make Beyond the Gates because I read the script and I saw his talent as a young director, and I really wanted to be there to help him. And that's quite satisfying for me. And then I'm working on another movie next year called The Wildness, about werewolves in Aspen, Colorado. I read the script for the movie. I love the movie so much. I love the writer. He's a good friend of mine. And I said, I have to help you make this movie. So I wound up brokering a deal to sell it to a company who's going into production with it in February. And I was happy to help him. That just feels more right for me.
So as a producer, not
As a producer, it feels more right for me than as a director, yeah.
Una sola más? Okay, we only have one more question.
Okay, sure.
And I need to tell you, we love you in a lot of films, but Reanimator for sure is something special. In Spain, for example, for a lot of people from my age, you was an erotic myth in some way.
I was a what?
Like an erotic myth.
Muse, erotic.
Exactly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cheers to that.
And what do you remember of the shooting of Reanimator?
So many things.
What the most?
Where do I start?
Yes,
The most beloved memory.
exactly.
My most beloved memory. It was just everything. I mean, it was a crazy movie, right?
Yeah.
And we shot it very fast. It was in, I think, 19 days. And I remember, it's Stuart Gordon's first movie, right? So he came from the theater. We rehearsed that movie for 3 weeks before we started shooting it. That doesn't happen today.
Yeah.
You don't rehearse a movie. You barely get to read through it with your other castmates. And we were rehearsing in my living room every day. And we really got a feel for the characters and a feel for one another. And being on the set with a director like Stuart, who came from the theater, he was so interested in the characters. Like I was saying earlier, it's the characters have to mean something.
Yeah.
So I just remember feeling like we were doing a play. We were rehearsing and then we would shoot it, but it felt bigger than a movie. It felt like, there was so much more we could put into it because we rehearsed so much. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and I enjoyed playing with the guys and, with Stuart, and it started my friendship with Stuart that has lasted for, 3 movies, and, I know his family and I feel very close to him, so it's the movie that gave me my career, basically.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for that movie, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. So I have a lot.
Thanks, Stuart.
I have a lot to thank Stuart Gordon for.
And thanks to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.